Welcome, everyone. We are live, and it is Thursday. I'm ready. I'm ready for Thursday. Polarity. Using it. The evidence of polarity in daily life. Things like temperature. 1 minute is hot, it's cold, right? Uh, Emotions, feelings, opinions, pro or anti. But polarity, we see polarity every single day. Polarity is the movement from where you are through the stages to get where you're going. What do you mean, stages? Well, look at plants. They start as seeds. My strawberry bush is blooming, actually. I think there's like 3 little strawberries on it. That's a stage because it goes from seed and the seed sprouts, and then it becomes a sapling, and then it becomes the tree, and then it has blossoms, and then those blossoms bear fruit, and the fruit gives you seeds. What kind of seeds does the fruit give you? The seeds that you started with. So you see, it starts and it never ends. That reminds me of the lamb chop song, but we won't go there today, right? Think about this for a moment, y'all. We experience polarity every day of our lives. Every moment of our lives, we experience polarity. And sometimes we don't even know that we're experiencing it because we don't know about the existence of polarity. We do, but we don't. Because we do know, we understand temperatures. It's hot or it's cold, but think about it. When you get in the shower, well, hopefully before you get in the shower, you get the water the right temperature. So it goes from, you start it off at, depending on where the nozzle turns, is it cold or is it hot? And you have to wait for it to warm up before you get in. So it's going through a stage. That water is going through a stage. Hot, warm, cool. It is going through a stage. You go through stages. All the big rage right now is menopause and perimenopause. That is a stage. Because you didn't start with that, did you? No, we didn't start with that. But we're in it now. It is a phase, which is polarity, where you're moving from where you are to where you're going. So when you begin to watch your behaviors, you begin to see how those behaviors and the actions unfold and move you through the stages. Now, people say the stages of grief. Yeah? Well, listen to the phrase, the stages of grief. The stages. It starts off with denial. Oh no, this can't be true. And then you get all the way to acceptance. And people tend to ask, well, how long does grief last? So long as the memory remains. Because you always miss that person. It's not like they're gone and then you just forget about them. No. We mourn the loss of those we loved. Pets, parents. We just do. It is a stage. Some days are better than others. Some days you feel as though, oh, I miss you. And other days it's a big out, crash out talking about, hey, God, I miss you, right? It's a stage. If you can recognize the mental mood that you are in, you will see the stages of your behavior as it unfolds. And when you see the stage, you are in a beautiful position of power. How is that? Well, how is this thing unfolding? Do you like it? You don't like it? you can, because remember, it is polarity. It's going in a particular direction to where you say, because you've chosen, you said, I am, dot, dot, dot. So it has to unfold. It has to take you to the stages, the beginning of this mood to its fulfillment. So if you're looking at this mood and it's unfolding and you say to yourself, oh, that's only going to turn out that particular way. I'm not a fan. So let me do what? Repolarize myself in a more desirable direction. You see, when you practice polarizing yourself, you will always know what you feel, what mood you're in. You'll always know what kinds of thoughts you're going to have. You'll always know what kind of words are going to come out of your mouth. And you will always know what kind of action you're going to take because you know the impetus, the beginning, the mood. But you see, we don't watch ourselves enough. Because I guess something is more entertaining than the self. The self is not here to entertain. It is not a jester. The guy with the hat with the little bells on the tassels and the little bells on his shoes. He's not there to make you laugh. That's not what your self is there for. Yeah, you're supposed to have fun with yourself, of course. But you and we tend to take our self for granted because it is not as entertaining. Why else would we scroll incessantly? Because it is more entertaining. But if you pay attention and you recognize yourself scrolling aimlessly, you'll see the mood. You will see the mood that you're in. And when you see the mood you're in, what is that? Are you trying to escape from something? Think about it for a moment. What is the mood? It is always going to come down to that. You see, the key is, remember, we do not sustain moods indefinitely, meaning you cannot be happy 24/7, 365, 366. It's not that it's not possible. You know what makes it possible? Making a habit out of it. So you go back to that mood. You're in that mood so much that it looks like you're always in that mood. And it appears to be always sustained only because of the habit, right? Everything moves, so nothing stands still, so the mood cannot stay still. It cannot remain sustained. Like when you play the piano, there's the sustain pedal, which makes that note or that chord resonate for a lot longer, but your foot's going to get tired at some point and you've got to let it go. You see? That's what's so beautiful about it, with polarity. You say, I'm not in the mood today. And you examine that. Do you know what I mean? Polarity is all around us. And so we've got to learn to use it deliberately. If you find yourself rocking in the corner too much, you find yourself swinging in the rafters too much, you're tense all the time, or you're too relaxed. You want to be somewhere where people tell you, oh, go down the middle. Sure, but is that where you want to be? See, it comes down to knowing your own self. Knowing your own self is really important. Why? Because then you know what you are willing to do, what you're not willing to do. Where you're willing to go, where you're not willing to go. See, when you know the self, you're not caught unaware. It's like Michelangelo did not just wake up and become a phenomenal artist. He practiced his artistry every single day. William Blake did not grow up and he was a poet. He practiced his poetry every single day. Poetry was his life. Art was his life. He saw the face of God everywhere because he just looked. He saw how beautiful the plants were. And in the beginning, when he started writing poetry or he started painting, I can tell you, he looked at it and he said, ooh, ooh, that's not real pretty. But he never stopped. He practiced. And every time he practiced, he realized, ooh, I could, if I shade with my pencil this way or my charcoal this way, I can really catch the light as it reflects. He started to see the depth of things because he trained himself. He went from the novice, which is the beginning state, and he moved through the stages from novice to pro and everything in between. So, in other words, we can describe polarity like a spectrum because it is moving through the stages. So, where are you in your life? What stage are you at? Well, that depends on the habit you've chosen. What habit have you chosen? Well, then, you're going to go through the behaviors of that, always to the fulfillment of the habit. You see, everything goes towards satisfaction. And I know you may not believe me, but it is not for you to believe, it's for you to observe. It is for you to observe. Everything goes towards satisfaction. I've had the privilege of seeing a bumblebee asleep. Oh, where was he sleeping? In the flower. He'd fallen asleep as he was sipping the nectar. It's just what he was doing. All you do is observe how things go towards satisfaction. He was so full, or she was so full, they just had to rest a little bit. Rest their little legs and their little wings a little bit. All you do is observe. You see, we keep thinking that we've got to believe something. No, observe it. It is right in front of you. It is right there. So when you hear the word polarity, look for polarizing today. Look for polarizing things. Think about it. To polarize something means to move it in a direction, left or right, up or down. Which direction is it leaning towards? Well, think about how we talk about politics. Left wing, right wing. That is polarization right there. That is the principle of polarity. And depending of the behavior of the person, you can tell whether they are right wing or left wing. How their behavior. Because whatever direction you are polarized in has a behavior. But this is how you will recognize it. So polarity is everywhere. At first you start out, you're hungry. And you start to eat. And you eat a little bit more. And then you're like, ah. You're satiated. You're satisfied. Everything goes towards satisfaction naturally. Hmm. Observe it and you'll see for yourself. It goes towards satisfaction naturally. That's where it wants to go because that is how it unfolds. But we, as people, we have the ability to usurp it. We have the ability to delay satisfaction. Think about that. Everything is geared towards its satisfaction. The seed that you plant, The end result is the fruit. Why is that? Because the fruit, when you bite into it, if you had the privilege of biting into a fresh cashew, we call it a cashew in Barbados. You guys you call it cashew because it's a cashew nut that you guys know about. But the nut is inside the seed that you hold to eat the fruit, which is the cashew. That's just the dialect, eh? But if you had the privilege of dipping that cashew in salt, now whether it's real ripe, oh, yeah. And if it's really ripe, heaven help us all. Mm. If it's a little bit, not quite ripe, but almost, and it has a little bit of a tang to it. Mm. For you non-Bajan people, when you have a guinep, ackee. When you have an ackee and you bite into it, and the skin, when you bite the skin and it just pops, and that sweet juice flows into your mouth, everything is geared towards satisfaction. The leopard in the tree with the carcass of whatever he just ate, in the Caribbean, say, he belly bursts. It means he's full. You see his pot belly. Satisfaction. Everything is geared towards being polarized to be satisfied. Look at what happens in a state of dissatisfaction. There's agitation in that state. There's frustration in that state. Everything will lead you towards satisfaction if you let it. That is its natural result. You just have to let it. Stop getting in the way of it. Right? So it's, if you observe, let's use these their eyes to see that everything is geared towards satisfaction. So what should that tell you? It should tell you that you should have a beautiful life naturally. So who disrupted it along the way? What disrupted it along the way? Well, then repolarize yourself. Get your mind. Listen, it begins and ends in the mind. The all is mind. The universe is mental. The all. What is the all? Let's touch it a little bit. The all is your awareness of yourself. I love the way Neville says it because he's so verbose, he's so poetic. He says, I may forget who I am. I may forget where I am. I may forget what I'm doing, but I will always know that I am. What's the first thing you say? Oh my God, I can't remember. What did you recognize? You recognize that you forgot something. See, you're always aware of yourself. What are you aware of yourself doing? When you live from that place, oh, test it out. Test it. It is not for me to convince you. I'm just showing you where it is in real everyday life that we live in. So test it. When you hear something, watch your reaction. And you'll see where you've been polarized, left or right, up or down. You will see where you've been polarized. You'll see that that thing has pulled you in a direction. And the direction in which you are pulled has an expression. It has behaviors associated, or it has corresponding, as within, so without. It has corresponding behaviors. So watch yourself today. and you'll see what you're working with. Yeah, it's a mystical party. Watch yourself. Show me what you're working with. Watch yourself and see. And you'll recognize where you were polarized. And when you recognize, one, that you were polarized and where you were polarized. Oh, when you hear that phrase, take back your power, what do you possibly think that means? To take the control back as to who polarizes you. Do you allow yourself to be polarized by any and everything? Who don't be me. Don't be me, okay? I allow myself to be polarized, especially if I'm driving. And I catch myself and I say, Angela, Angela, are you really going to harden your arteries? Hmm? Are you really going to restrict your blood flow to your heart? Really? Just because you're angry? Really? Is that really worth it for you? Sometimes I say, damn it, yes it is. And I will cuss somebody out, lean on my horn. Other times I say, my peace is a little bit more important. So I will polarize myself in the direction of peace. And let me tell you something, Linda. Some days are more challenging than others to polarize yourself in the direction that you want to go in. But remember, you don't have to force yourself to be there. You just have to understand why it is more beneficial for you. You see, we seem to think that uh, we don't have an effect on our lives and our bodies when we allow ourselves to be polarized. But we do. We sure do. We do. You can't be that angry all day, every day, and it not affect your body. Every cause has its effect. Hmm. But we don't want to think that the way we feel, which is the mental mood, the mental attitude that we have, we want to think that that is somehow separate from our bodies. We need our bodies so we can see the mood. Again, just simple observation. It is simple observation, not a belief issue. We're not designed to believe. We were taught to believe, though. We were designed knowing. But somewhere along the line, somebody said, no, that's not true. You should believe this. Then right before you, your experience, the evidence is right there, showing you that whatever mood you are in is what you're going to encounter. Simple as that. Again, you don't have to believe me. Observe. Look at your life. Look at it. It's nothing to be, your life is nothing to be ashamed of, you know. It's nothing to feel guilty about. It's nothing to feel, what's that word? Unworthy about or undeserving. Your life is there to be lived. So then you have to ask, what kind of life do I want to live? You know, Neville said it is irrelevant where you started, you know. You could have started behind the 8 ball, he always says, but you don't have to remain behind the 8 ball, darling. You can move from behind to out front. Hello? Because everything moves. Nothing stands still. So if you think at this moment that you were somehow born behind the 8 ball, check that. Check it. Yeah, but they had more opportunities. I was saying, fortune knocks once at every man's door. Are you listening for the knock? Or are you complaining that you don't have opportunities? Opportunities don't necessarily fall from the sky. The mood, the mental attitude, the mental state that you are in. And when I say mental state, let me clarify that. Your mental state is a mood. That's the word, the mood. What mood are you in? Again, you don't have to believe me because you're the one who says, man, I'm not really in the mood for that. I'm not feeling that. Hello? Do you not say that? How many times a day do you say it? What do you want to eat? I don't know. I'm not in the mood for that. No, I'm not in the mood for that either. So what are you in the mood for? Because what you are in the mood for is how you will think. Whatever you are in the mood for is how you will speak. What you are in the mood for is how you will behave. The mood is the dictator. So when you get up in the morning, what kind of mood are you in? Are you salty? Are you sweet? If you're like Lil Bit, jeez. If you're anything like Lil Bit, you just gotta watch them feathers and he will tell you exactly what mood he's in. If his feathers are all laying down and, smooth, he's in a good mood. But if those feathers are ruffled in any way, approach with caution. It only took me a little while to figure that out. But you know how it is. You live and you learn, don't you? So watch your mood. Don't judge it, just watch it and feel it. And remember, you can't always be in the mood 24/7. The mood will change. The mood changes, you change. So you are either victim to the mood, being tossed to and fro like a log on the lake, or you're master of the mood. Which one are you? That is up to you. I cannot tell you what to be, but I know I want to be master of my mood. What do you think power is? Power is having the ability to rule your own mood. That's what power is. But you see, we mistake power for control. We want to be able to control somebody else's mood. Oh, yes. You don't have to believe that. Look around you and you'll see. So today, my beautiful friends, as you go through this glorious day, observe polarity in action and learn how to ride polarity. Of course. You ever seen a surfer? Oh yes. Allegedly, Barbados has the most beautiful waters for surfing and tides. What? Alleged. You ain't gonna catch me on no surfboard in no water, I'll tell you that. But I will observe you. I'll watch you. Because there's also things in that water. I'm not going. You're not gonna have me for lunch. No. But I will observe the surfer. He moves with the wave. He undulates on the board. He becomes one with the wave, does he not? So, become one with your life. Really and truly, become one with it. How? Step 1. Where are you and what are you doing? Do you like it? Do you want to remain as you are? Or do you want to change? That's step 1. It's not judge it. Cuss it out, crash out. No. Just acknowledge where the heck you are and what you're doing. And if you decide that that thing is no longer beneficial to you, well, then we will prune it. How do you prune it? you begin to experience in imagination what you would be doing in reality if you were the man or the woman you wanted to be. Because look at what you're doing now that you don't like. And you can see what you're doing, can't you? Of course you can, because you're doing it. Now you say, well, I don't want to do that. Okay, so then show yourself what you want to do. Where do you show yourself what you want to do? In your mind's eye. Because that's where you're going to see it every single time. In your just my imagination. You'll see it in your imagination. The image within. That's all imagination is. The image within. Look at the word. L. You will see it within yourself. You'll see, and then you'll say, you know what? Yes, I want to do that. That's who I want to be. And when you decide that that's who you want to be, there are corresponding actions. What is that corresponding action that you would do that would confirm for you that you changed? Can you see it in your mind's eye? Once you start to see it in your mind's eye, you're going to feel it in your body. Naturally. And when you start to see it in your mind's eye and feel it in your body, what do we do? Rehearse it like the dancer in the mirror. You're going to watch yourself as you do it. Why? To get a feel for your new attitude, your new mental state. That's why you rehearse, to get a feel for it. And when it feels most natural to you, how do you know when something feels most natural to you? That's your cue that you set down the neurological pathway inside your brain. That's all it is. That's why it's natural. You could do it with your eyes closed. Because now you've set down the pathway in your brain. That's the pathway you're going to use to always do that thing. Which now confirms for you that you've changed. See, so the mental mood, remember, we don't hold it indefinitely. But what we do is we pop out and we go back. So the mood that you pop into the most now becomes the habit. Which means what? You're going to do that thing more often than you do anything else. Which gives the appearance that it is a mood sustained, when it is simply the habit repeated. Listen, don't let me keep you. Don't let me hold you up. Who's here with us today? Because the evidence of polarity in your daily life is what you're looking for. When you can recognize the temperature of something, of course, you're just observing the temperature. You can't make the temperature. When you turn the oven on, you're turning the oven on. It is the thing. You just turn it on, and it will do what it does. Hmm. But we think we can force it, eh? Ow. Look for the evidence of polarity in your life. Twitter is for the replay gang. Ray of Sunshine. Hey, girl. I see you in these YouTube streets. Well, I'm sure Miss Liza is here in these YouTube streets too. Perhaps even the better man is here. I don't know, but I know that you are. Mm-hmm. Fan base. Oh, your girl has to scroll. I gotta scroll up to see who's here today. Yeah. Some I can see because the number says 6, but there's only 5 in the space. That's neither here nor there. I can see my lovely Miss McQueen. Listen, we gotta send some prayers up. Focus on Jamaica today for their health and their safety and their well-being. But they got a hurricane blowing through right now. Ooh. Yep. So remember, to give them some love today. The moment you stop and you think of someone, think of me fondly, right? Think of them, because your thoughts do not stay inside of you. They are projected out. And if more people than not focus on them in a positive way, a positive polarization, then their healing happens faster. Their cleanup happens faster. Their aid happens faster because that's where we're all focused upon. So polarize yourself towards love for Jamaica today. Tomorrow, however long you want to do it. Right? Remember that. Because Miss McQueen, we got Ray Ray in the house. We got Big Mike in the house. K squared. Hey, girl. It's good to see you, stranger. Did I also not see my sweet KZ here, too? I'm sure I did. You know, he trying to out-holler me. What is wrong with you? Tried to bite me last night. Listen, thank you all for being here on this glorious day. Go forth into this day and recognize polarity at work. The better man. Recognize polarity as you go through the day. But most of all, recognize polarity and you. Melly Mel. Melly Mel is in the house. So you see, watch it, observe it. And then you observe polarity deliberately, meaning it didn't catch you by surprise. And when you recognize polarity, you'll know how to use it. Well, all you're doing is turning yourself into the different direction. You either go left or you go right. You either go up or you go down. But put yourself in the direction you want to go in. Why? Because you want the outcome of that direction. Test it. Observe it. And you'll begin to see what you are capable of. You'll begin to see how you can change your life when you polarize yourself. And you'll also recognize when you're polarized by something else. See, the art of polarization will teach you yourself. It'll teach you yourself so that when something attempts to polarize you, you will know if it is you or not. But you know what? That's for a different day. Just observe polarity in your daily life. You know, wet, dry, hot, cold, because there's warm in between. You're moving from, you see, we're moving right now, especially where I am in the northern hemisphere. We're moving from fall into winter. Oh, fall is not over yet. She is clinging to the vestiges of herself, saying, no, I want to stay a little longer. The winter's like, not on my watch. Right? So we're moving through the stages of the seasons, which is polarity. Because right now we're still polarized at fall, but we will be polarized at winter. It is inevitable. So observe polarity and then imitate polarity. How? Move your mental direction and the body will follow. Didn't you hear En Vogue? Free your mind and the rest will follow. Hello. It is the mind at all times. All situations deal with the mind. They do. So, thank you all for being here. You know that I love you. And I shall see you on the morrow because it's Friday tomorrow. Yay! You believe my boss called yesterday? I'm like, sir, isn't it hot where you are? Shouldn't you be lounging somewhere? What you calling me for? Everything is perfectly fine here, sir. Just go relax. Spend all that money to go on holidays and you're gonna be worried about work. What? His mind is polarized on work. So he's going to be agitated. If you are on holidays, polarize your mind towards beach, sand in your crack, the crack of your toes. Polarize yourself towards that. The Mai Tai, virgin Mai Tai, the whatever, the ocean. Just enjoy where you are in that moment. Anyway, if you let me, I'll be yakety yakking all day. And Lord knows nobody wants that. Anywho, Lil Bit says good morning. Lady's back to sleeping on the stairs. Mm-hmm. You just gotta look for her. She's like the void. Because it's dark, right? I mean, when you see her, it's like you're seeing a void because she's darker than the darkness. And you're like, hey, lady. And because she's sleeping, she doesn't run away. And so I get to pet her and everything. I said, hey, girl, it's time for bed. I know. Let's go. And so I pick her up and I take her to bed. And I'm like, why are you out here on the stairs? That is unsafe, girl. Somebody could step on you. But anyway, she does say her hellos as well. She sure does. Anywho, I love you. And I will see you on the morrow, 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and Fanbase. Countdown initiated. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 love, 1 heart. Let's get together and feel alright. Let me stop before the Marleys don't come for me for these copyrights. Right? So let it be a Bob Marley day, because we love him. And all that love will pour out towards Jamaica. Right? Peace out.